it's Mo here again to have another mukbang meal with you. So today we're having tacos. I'm super excited. Been craving this, so let's dig in because I'm starving. We're just having water to drink as usual. Well, not as usual, but we're having water. I normally drink water with my meals. Very rarely do I drink like soda and stuff. Okay, so I've got the stuff here to make tacos. The shells are back there. I didn't have any room to put them in the screen. And I've got cinnamon twists from Taco Bell, and then I've got some nachos from Taco Bell too. I also have an ear of corn here. So you guys, my favorite part of the taco is the sour cream. Like, I freaking love sour cream. I put more sour cream than meat on my taco, I think. I can't see, I'm too low. Too low to the gram. Okay. I like tomatoes on my taco. I like lettuce on my taco. And of course, cheese. I don't like salsa on my taco. I've never been like a salsa type of girl. Okay, first bite. You guys, I'm like the messiest person when I eat tacos. I'm usually not this messy. I got stuff going all down my, damn it, piece of cheese. Y'all hear my stomach? Y'all know it's always got something to say in the videos. That's really good. Okay, tomatoes, lettuce, cheese. I think I might have filled this taco too full. So you guys, I'm gonna try my hand. It's story time again. Look at that. That's gross. My hands are so gross. I'm like leaving smudge all over my cup. So my cousin turned me on to watching this show that's a Hulu original called Handmaid's Tale. And it is so good. If you guys have seen that show, leave in the comments that you saw it and let me know if you liked it or not. So it's basically about a future United States where this like radical Christian government like overthrows the actual government. And it's just like really screwed up. So the handmaid basically like in the future, because of all the pollution and what else is out there, just what we're doing to like the earth and the world as a whole, it's caused infertility like across the whole world. So infertility rates are like extremely low. And in this movie, they have like all the women that can, well, it's a show, all the women that can bear children, they like herd them up like freaking livestock, and they like force them to like bear the children of like the higher ranked officials of the society. It's crazy. It's so twisted. And of course, they're like against all of the religions. Like gay people are not accepted. Any type of crime is just an immediately no-no. It's a crazy show. You guys should watch it. I will admit that it moves kind of slow. But I think it's good. And the reason why I brought the show up and like connected to a story time is because it's almost like a cult, you know, like what they've got going on. It's very like cultish. And I actually had an experience within like a little religious community cult type situation. It was crazy. So this is what happened. My father's side of the family, who I'm not close to him or his family, we'll call him Earl. So, because I don't call him daddy or dad. I don't talk to him, but if I do refer to him, it's by his first name. So basically, his family lived up somewhere in Michigan. And one summer, my mom decided to like send me up there with them to like spend the summer. And I was about 12 years old. I'm pretty sure it was 12. So, of course, I didn't want to go because it's like I never really been away from home. I didn't want to leave like my mom and my sisters. And I didn't know these people. I had never met these people a day in my life. So, of course, it's going to be scary. So, she sends me up there, y'all. It was crazy. So they were like, they were Christians, but they were like on some other type of shit. Like they were freaking crazy. They followed a lot of the principles from like the Old Testament of the Bible. So like the men were superior over the women. They had like some crazy, like men weren't like allowed to be in the kitchen, like to fix themselves something to eat, because that was like a woman's job. The women didn't work. They stayed in the home. They took care of the home, took care of the kids and all that stuff. But it wasn't optional for them to do that. It was a requirement. And like the dress code, the women had to wear like really long dresses, like nothing revealing at all. What else did they have to do? I think that's all I can think of right now at this moment. And so I remember when I first got there, I had an uncle that was not too much older than me. He was probably like maybe 6 years older than me. And I remember, okay, this is the first night I got there. So the first day I got there, obviously they're black. The women wore their hair natural, like just in afros. Like they just wore their hair in like natural afros. Because get this, braids weren't allowed. Like you couldn't, like in the Bible somewhere, it says something about how like a woman shouldn't have her hair pleated or shouldn't leave the house with her hair pleated or some shit like that. And crazy thing, strike one for me, is that my mama sent me up there with my hair braided. Like I had braids because I was gonna be gone all summer. I'm 12, so I wasn't really like messing with my hair. And y'all know how it go. You go on vacation, you braid your hair up. So my hair was braided, so they was already looking like, Then with the whole dress code, I remember I had like a bunch of shorts and capri pants and little skirts. Those were popular back then. Little like tees and stuff. Nope. They weren't having that shit either. I was like strike two. And I remember the first night I got there, at this point I still didn't have like no real clue of what the hell I was stuck in for the summer. And I remember we sat down to have dinner, and I remember we had fried chicken. It was like a banquet meal of fried chicken, and you like pop in the oven, and then she had made like some sides and stuff, my grandmother. And when we sat down to eat, they were like, okay, well, we're gonna say grace. And so I'm thinking, all right, so I bow my head, and I'm thinking that my grandfather is going to be like, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this food back to receive, yada, yada, yada. This is how they praise y'all. They scream. Like the whole table. So it's like you bowed your head and then everybody was like, because me, my uncle, my grandma, and my grandpa. And they were just like, oh, geez, ah. Like I don't even know what they were saying. Like, it wasn't that they were necessarily speaking in tongues, I don't think, but they just started like shouting and like freaking out about this prayer. And it's like, oh, Jesus, and thank you, Lord. And so I remember looking like, what the fuck? Like, I was so scared. I'm looking around the table like, what is going on? Crazy. So that was the first night I was there. I don't know, like just me being like in the outside world and what they had going on, we didn't get along with each other at all. And I'm a very outspoken girl. Like I don't bite my tongue. I'm not disrespectful, but I will speak my opinion on things if I have one. And so Like, I don't know. I just didn't like just none of it. I hated the whole thing. I remember the next morning when I woke up from the first day, I had went into the kitchen and I want some breakfast or something. I think my grandma wasn't there. And so I like look in the fridge and I find like some Eggo waffles. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'm about to just, pop 2 of these in the toaster and have that for breakfast. So I do that and I'm sitting down at the little breakfast bar eating my little waffles. And my uncle comes in and he's like, hey, I'm hungry. So I'm like, okay, well, there's some waffles in the fridge. He was like, but you have to make them for me. So I'm like, what's wrong with your hands and legs that you can't go in there and make your own waffle? Like, all you do is put in a toaster. And he was like, well, that's when I found out about that. So he's like, well, men aren't allowed to be in the kitchen. That's a woman's job. And his mama wasn't there. So I'm like, I guess you're going to have to wait for your mama to come home because I'm not making your grown ass. And he wasn't grown. He was like 15 or something. No, he might have been older than that. Let's say he was like 17. But at any rate, I don't give a damn. I'm not about to you can go make your own waffle. And if you don't want to make your own waffle, then I guess you're just going to be hungry until your mama get home. That's kind of how I felt about it. So that's just kind of an example of like how I am and how I was while I was up there. And like I said, that's not what they believe in. So they didn't really take too kindly to that. Another example. And then they do everything kind of like old school too. Like they do their own like farming and, you got the roosters and collecting chicken eggs and all that kind of stuff. So it was very kind of rural. And even though we were in Michigan, I want to say maybe outside of Detroit somewhere, like it was still just a very small community of these radical religious freaks. Yeah, my hand is like disgusting from my taco drippings. Okay, so another example of how stuff was ran. Like, of course, the woman wasn't like really responsible or had any dealings with like the finances and stuff. Also a man's job. And I remember that my aunt and my grandmother and I had all like drove up to Walmart. And while we were there, this is like they're not allowed to spend like money on, I guess, like frivolous things. So they didn't spend a lot of money on clothes or just anything that was really kind of like materialistic. Sorry. Do you guys eat? Do you get like food that like, I have food that like, it gets caught up in like my gum line. So I always have to like flush it out. Is that gross? Sorry if that's gross. Okay, so yeah, so we're at Walmart and my aunt is shopping. This is the thing. First of all, we're at Walmart, so their clothes is not that high in the first place. Secondly, she was in the clearance section of Walmart. So once again, not very expensive with the clothes shopping. So my aunt finds this pretty dress, like a summer dress, like a maxi dress. And it was like, I mean, it was cheap, y'all. The dress was like $7 or something. And so she's like, oh, I really like this dress. This dress is so pretty. I want it. And I'm like, I did like my aunt. Like, let me throw that in there. My aunt, I really liked her a whole lot. Like, my grandparents, I don't, My aunt, she was real cool. And she's like, you know, Earl's age. So she's grown. Not like my uncle. And so, I'm like, you should get it. Like, it's cute. You know, it's your size, like $7. Like, you should get the dress. She was like, well, I have to call my husband and see if I can get it. Once again, y'all, you know, I gave her that look like, whatever. So they did have cell phones. So she pulls out her cell phone and she calls home and asks her husband if she could buy this $7 dress that she found on the clearance rack at Walmart. He told her no. So she put it back. She didn't buy it. And I'm thinking, that's ridiculous. Now that I'm an adult and I'm thinking back on this story, like I had a little spending money that my mom had gave me in case I wanted something. And I wish that I would have bought her that dress. Like, obviously I was a 12-year-old kid, but now in that situation, like I would have bought that dress for her. Like that was just ridiculous to me. I need more napkins. Okay. Their church, of course, they went to church like several times a week, Bible study and all the extras for that. And it was like I said, a whole community of these people, blacks and whites. And oh my God, y'all thought the prayer at the dinner table was crazy. That's how they prayed, the whole church. And so I remember when we had went to service and they got the let's pray, the whole church, just everybody's just screaming and yelling. And it was freaky. Like it was so weird. And and then the women, you have to cover your head when you pray. That's another thing. It's supposedly somewhere in the Bible too that a woman should cover her head like when she's praying. So we used to always have to like wear these little like scarves and stuff over your head. It was too much for me, y'all. So I remember that same day too. It's all coming back. That same day when we came back home from Walmart, it wasn't even late. It might have been like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. And when we got to the house, I remember my grandpa was like sitting at the little breakfast bar, just sitting there in the dark. So, you know, we walk in and my grandma's like, I don't want to say his name, but like, hubby, why are you sitting in the dark? And he was like throwing this little man tantrum where he was like, well, I'm hungry. I've been sitting here for hours waiting to eat. And he used to like salad. Like he just wanted like a bowl of salad. And I remember she used to sprinkle sunflower seeds. And was it raisins too? Sunflower seeds and or raisins she used to sprinkle on his salad. So he sat there for hours having an attitude, mad at her because she wasn't at home, waiting to, wait on him hand and foot. And once again, so here she is scrambling, trying to put, her bags down and get this man a salad because he's starving. And it's simple. It's a bowl. It was like salad mix. You sprinkle some of that in a bowl, sprinkle your little sunflower seeds, some dressing, bam, there you go. But he couldn't do that though because it's not a man's place. So needless to say, I wasn't there for it. Like, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I wanted to come home. And then shit just took a turn for, like, the dark, dark worst. I think I was just like over the whole situation. Like, this was not my lifestyle. This was not my belief and my religion. And so I just did not want to be there. I wanted to come home. I guess they thought they was getting ready to like beat the devil out of me or something. I don't know. But it got physical. Like towards the end of the summer, they were like locking me in a room. Like, they would lock me in the room. And it was like a bedroom, you know, a bed and a nightstand and stuff like that. So it was like my room, but they would lock me in there, like, so I couldn't get out. And they would just leave me in there like all day long. I know at one point, like one evening, me and my grandmother were like playing a card game. Oh, because there's no TV. Get that too. There's no TVs. The whole community, no TVs. TVs are the devil. Which I can feel them on that. I see where they were coming from. And so we were playing like a card game. And something that evening had popped off. And honestly, you guys, I don't remember what happened. I think it could have been my mouth. I think maybe my grandpa was having a bout with my grandmother on some misogynistic, like, type shit. Like, superior type shit. And I might have, like, actually spoke up for her or something. Like, I don't remember. And then I honestly don't remember. All I really remember was at one point, things were already heated. I threw the cards in her face. Or was it his face? I remember throwing the cards at somebody's face. And then me and my grandmother started fighting. Literally. Like, fist fighting. Like, I fought an old woman who happened to be my grandmother. Like, it was crazy. Granted, it wasn't like much of a fight. I mean, y'all see how tiny I am full grown. So imagine me at the age of 12. Like, I was small, but hey, I was a little scrapper. Like, I was trying. And yeah, so I mean, and that's something I do not condone that. Y'all know I love my abuela, like my maternal grandmother. I would never in a million years, like, I'm not a disrespectful child, or I wasn't then, or I'm not like a disrespectful person, but it was just chaos there. It was crazy. Real quick, you guys, let me know how this is working out for you. I know you guys want me to like do story times and stuff while I'm eating. I honestly prefer just kind of like random talking, like whatever thought comes to my head while I'm eating. Because then, like I told you guys, I feel like I'm doing too much talking in the story time. So let me know what you think about the talking and the eating in this video. Okay, so back to the story though. I think it was then, after that night, with the whole cards and the fighting, that they locked me in the room. And just like would leave me in the room. And I remember one day, the house was gone. And of course, I'm sitting there like plotting the whole time. Like, how do I get out of here? I didn't know where I was. Like I said, I was in kind of a rural area. I'm like, I don't even know which way I would, like if I managed to escape the house. I remember they had like a rotting lawnmower that I used to like, that was kind of my chore, my summer chore was to like cut the grass, which I didn't mind. It was fun to me. It was like driving. And so I'm like, okay, I could steal the lawnmower and just drive. And I'm like, I don't even know like which way I would go. Like it was just insane. And I remember one day they had left, like the whole house was empty. And I remember the phone rang. So they had phones again. So the house phone rang and, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, whatever. And then the answering machine picks up and it's my mother like calling to like check in on me and everything. And I remember just like crying and like bamming on the door, like kicking on the door. Cause like once I heard my mom's voice, like, hey mama, it's your mom. She's calling. I was like, mama. Like I was crying. I'm like bamming on the door. I'm like trying to open the door. I'm like, I gotta get this phone call. And mind y'all too, this is back in the day where like long distance was still like hitting people's pockets. Like it cost money to like call long distance. And, but yeah, like I just remember like screaming her name, like trying to get to the phone. Like I gotta get to the phone. I have to talk to her and tell her to come get me. So needless to say, I didn't get out, missed the phone call. I got one taco left. Oh no, I got 2 tacos left. Okay, let me eat a little bit more and I will tell you guys like the conclusion of this crazy summer I spent in this horrible cult. And my food has gotten cold. I know how I am about that. So I think I'm gonna warm it up. I want to try one of these. I was trying to wait until I was done eating for dessert. Okay, I'm gonna wait. I want to have my sweets. It's so warm in here. I turned my air off so that it wouldn't like pick up in the mic. But now I'm hot. I actually still have some toppings down here on my little plate that I can recycle. Okay, so this is how I got out of it. Obviously, it's towards the end of the summer at this point anyway. And so Earl, which is my father, him and his family, his wife and his 4 stepchildren, like, I think at the time they were living in Georgia, but they like drove all the way up to Michigan. And I guess we're gonna like spend the last 2 weeks of summer up there with me and, you know, his family. And then we were supposed to like road trips. I flew up there and then we were gonna like road trip back home to, Kansas City, which is where I'm from. And so basically when I seen him, and I have zero respect for this man, just none. And of course, when I saw him, I was like, I need your phone. Like, give me your phone right now. And so I got his phone and I remember calling Abuela. Yep. Like, I wasn't even worried about my mama at that point. I wanted Abuela. And like, Earl, you know, of course he's scared of Abuela, because she don't play that. Like, especially when it comes to me. So I remember calling her and just snitching. I told it all. I'm like, they up here hitting on me. They're locking me in rooms. They're crazy. Like, just spilt it all. Told her everything. My grandma was pissed. She was pissed. And so she's like, put Earl on the phone. So I'm like, hey, she want to talk to you. Like, have fun with that. And so basically, you know, you kind of like hear her through the phone, like, nah, 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 nah. So she told him, like, you need to get her back home, like, now, like yesterday. And he was like, well, we was just gonna stay up here for a few weeks, and then I was gonna drive her back home while we headed, you know, south to Georgia. And she was like, nuh-uh, she's not staying up there no longer. She was like, don't make me have to come up there and get her, because trust, y'all don't want to see my face up there. She was like, I don't care. She's like, you need to put her on a flight and send her home. And of course he's like, well, I don't have money to do all that. She's like, you better ask your mama. You better get it from somewhere. I'm telling you, don't make me come up there to come get my grandbaby. So Abuela handled that. And he put me on the plane like the next day. They put me on the flight back home. And that's that. I think I've seen them once since all of that happened. I don't mess with them. Like, they try to reach out. I don't fool with them. Apparently, like, my grandfather, like, passed away a few years back. And then when he passed away, the community kicked her out. Like, this is what I heard. Like, that they kicked her out of their little cult. Like, I guess he had, I don't know. Y'all, it was messed up. As I found out a few years ago, that my mama, like, knew that they was crazy. And the only reason she sent me up there is because she needed a break from me. So she was a single mother of 3 girls. I was in the middle. And I was a difficult child. I will admit that. I was difficult. And I wasn't necessarily bad. I was just mean. Like, I mean, to this day, believe it or not, you guys, like, people would describe me kind of as, like, a very, like, mean person. So, I guess she was, like, tired of me and my personality, and she just needed a break. And so she shipped me off to the cult in Michigan to spend the summer. I didn't know that was what she had did until, like, years ago. We were talking about it, and she was, like, laughing like it was cute. But it was an experience. It was crazy. It wasn't life-changing, though. Like, it didn't do anything to me. It didn't, like, mess me up in the head, or, like, it's not something that I feel like I need to, like, go to therapy about or anything. I'm, like, a really, like, strong, resilient type person, even as a child. So, like I said, I just don't fool with them at all. Isn't that a crazy story, though, y'all? Okay. Looks like I got one more taco. This will make 6. And it looks like there's just a little more cheese and chips here. Looks like I got extra cheese. So I think I'm gonna put some in my taco and see how that turns out. Okay, let's see if I can scrape this cheese. All right. I might be too full to even eat my little twisties. I might eat like 4 of them. Tomato, lettuce, and a lot of cheese. Whew, whew, getting full. After I'm getting full, I start to like slow down. There's another thing about doing a lot of talking during the mukbang is that I eat slower because of it, which means I get fuller faster, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I can taste the nacho cheese in this one. It's not bad. It doesn't change the flavor a whole lot, but you can taste it. I mean, I could go without it. So full. I'm gonna wash my hands. so full. That was so good. I love tacos. Yummy. Okay. Let's have a few of these. These are little cinnamon twists from, you already know it ain't gonna focus. I don't even know why I always try to do that. These are the cinnamon twists from Taco Bell. They're like, let's see, they describe it as a crispy puffed corn twist sprinkled with cinnamon and sugar. I haven't had these in years. They're really good. All right, guys, so I said I'm not gonna eat a whole bunch of these because I'm full. I don't want to get to that like overeat miserable state of being full. So I'm gonna finish this. We've got our vitamins. I don't know if they actually got in the shot or not. I tried to get them in the shot. We've got our vitamins. Can you see those? So we're gonna take those as well. All right, yummies. I'm gonna sign off and go lounge around and be a bum before, what time is it? Actually, I don't have time to be a bum. I gotta go run some errands and do some chores and go see abuela. Whew. All right. I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for having lunch with me, or dinner, or a snack, or just watching me eat and talk. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.